Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Wonderful Wednesday. Hope you're all well wherever you are. Good to see a few in the house already. As always, a few early birds. Call me. Good to see you. Mick's in the house as well. We've got Aaron. We've got Luke. Kevin, all the way from Florida. G'day, mate. Alison, you're there. Good to see you, mate. I hope the coffee is good where you are. David, you're still in Perth, Alison? You're still in Perth? You come back yet? There you go, 6 a.m. in Perth. You read my mind. Marcus, how are you, mate? Good to see you. And hello to the Facebook users behind the Facebook group Veil. How are we, folks? Good to see you. Hey, today, I thought we'd talk about something. I've coined the wealth matrix, but I'm going to try and do a short one today. I've got a couple things on. We've got some planning and some training happening early today, so I thought I'd try and sort of get in and maybe do a 10-minute wealth coffee chat. Who knows? Probably impossible, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm rabbiting on already. Well, let's crack on. Good morning. Let's get into today's Wealth Coffee Chat. Today, I want to talk about the wealth matrix, and I'll just dive straight into it because it's something that for many of us we often are down in the details of our property investing, and fair show. You've got to sort of pay attention to the details. Often, when it comes to this stuff, what's the old saying? The devil is in the detail. And certainly it means that, often we spend a lot of time down in what, Gary V might say, down in the dirt. And every now and then we got to sort of, maybe pop up and head into the clouds, a bigger view, and have a look at, making sure we've got stuff on track when it comes to the world of investing, and maybe even just bigger than investing, our wealth and how do we sort of not only understand the higher level conversation, but also make sure we've got a few other boxes ticked when it comes to creating our wealth. And there's a few other things going on. So tonight, anyway, there you go. Tonight, I haven't had enough coffee. This morning, I'm going to dive into what we're calling the wealth matrix. The idea that there's a bunch of things we need to understand. I'm saying sort of there's 9, in the high level thought process, the high level view of what we might be needing to pay attention to. So the idea of wealth, right? And there's an L in it. So there we go. Wealth. How can we create wealth? Well, there's 3 kind of major boxes here, 3 kind of major pieces that we can create wealth with. And we're talking about that this morning when it comes to the investment vehicle, investment type, whatever it is. And I've bundled them together. I'm very property centric, so it's certainly property centric, this conversation. Okay. Number one, the idea of creating wealth through property, real estate, your own home, property investments, buying and selling. I don't suggest you do that, but, my version of the world may not be yours. Whatever it is, real estate, property in Australia, certainly, and New Zealand, property is the number one place of wealth that Australians and New Zealand Kiwis hold and store their wealth, folks. Store their wealth. Where else do they store their wealth? Well, this is kind of a funky one, but it's not really. It is and it isn't. It's a place of wealth. It's super. It's more like a structure, but it is the second place that most Australians hold their wealth. We can talk all day about that, but where do we put our wealth, rightly or wrongly? If you do it rightly, is that the way to say it? If you do it rightly, then, you can do very well out of it, right? So property and super, for most Aussies, is in the 80s and 90s when it comes to percentage of wealth storage, and then the other investments. All right, other investments might be the stock market, might be Bitcoin, might be something, might be businesses, might be whatever, other investments. So in three places. Morning, Friedrich. 3 bits. Where do we store our wealth? How are we going? Are you, let's just do a check-in. How are you going with your wealth in property? You're happy with that. How are you going with your wealth in super? How are you going with your wealth investments? And, have you got it covered? Have you got a spread across all of it? Because you should. And, how you buy those and where you buy them and all that sort of stuff is in the detail, but high level. Wealth and storage and investment, property, super investments. All right. That's the first part of the matrix this morning. The second part, or I'm going to go to the other side here, which is usually attached to wealth and investing, becomes your liabilities. I don't know. How do you spell it? IES. Liabilities. Is that how you spell it? Liabilities? I before E, I before A before I. Anyway, someone let me know in the chat. Obviously not enough coffee this morning. But your liabilities. We're creating wealth. We're doing our thing over here, right? We're doing our thing. We're going, right, let's get our wealth going. But, on the flip side, often you have some liabilities that you will carry and you need to manage, okay? So in the top part of this, you need to manage this part. So you need to manage your wealth. You need to manage the liabilities, because the combination of those two things being managed creates, a net result, a net dollar result, a net lifestyle result, whatever that might be. And what liabilities do we have, folks? What liabilities? Well, for most of us, whether we like it or not, if we're in the world of, playing this game of wealth, well, we have to manage taxes. And can we minimize them? Yes, we can. Smartly, very usefully, property, super investments. Actually, for many of us, we can minimize, or more importantly, delay taxes that we pay. We can minimize them. We can exchange and replace, income from our investments, our assets, in a way that can minimize and manage our taxes. Fantastic. We need to do that, right? So we're managing our wealth. We need to manage our liabilities. Wealth up. You want your wealth to go this way, and you want your liabilities to go that way. You want your liabilities to go down. Well, it depends. It depends for the last one, actually. And the middle one, bad debt. All right. How do we manage bad debt? What is bad debt, folks? You guys know this. Chuck it in the chat if you want to play along this morning. I'm trying to do a quick one this morning, so that's why I'm not asking you to put anything in the chat. But listen, bad debt, credit cards, car loans, your owner-occupier mortgage, not your home, but the mortgage on your home is a bad debt. It doesn't create income. It's not a tax deduction. And, for many Aussies and Kiwis, they don't use it as leverage for something else. So we need to manage that as well. So our liabilities, our taxes, our bad debt, and one, which is the next one, which is good debt. Now, good debt certainly need to manage. Maybe over time, as a ratio, as a percentage, as a loan to value ratio, we need that to reduce, because that gives us simpler, easier, quicker access to our liquidity, our ability to have access to money based on the assets that we own. We'll talk about that another time. So liquidity, the idea that good debt, certainly, I don't mind good debt going up, and it's a process of managing when and what you do with that, right? But listen, you've got your wealth, you've got your liabilities. What would you put in the middle, folks? And it starts with P. Excuse me. It starts with P. What would you put in the middle? What do you need to put in the middle of this to help you with these things? Now, this over here, these are your assets. You're building assets over there. This is where you have your cash flow conversation. As you manage the liabilities, that the net management of your liabilities equals your cash flow. Your net management of your assets equals your wealth, right? Okay. Now, down the bottom here, you want to have some sort of security. You want to have security. You want to have something. How do you do that? Well, you understand how to install protection in your world. How do you protect your assets? You've gone over here and you've done all this amazing, wonderful stuff with your wealth now, and you're managing your liabilities, because often most of these come with some or all of those three on the right-hand side there, which affect your cash flow. How do you protect? What's the way you protect yourself in the world of investing? Well, there's three ways you protect yourself when it comes to these things, right? So, number one, insurances. Insurances, folks. There are multiple and many, and you need to talk to a qualified person to understand that. One that's got your best interest in mind, by the way. Many of them are just anyway, I won't say it. I won't get offensive this morning, because I'm going to try and finish on time. Jason, stay on track. So you need insurances. You need insurances, which are awesome, and required across different layers. All right, property insurance, income insurance, debt insurance. Like if you have an accident, all of those things, they're important, folks. They're important, and they can be used very effectively if you understand what's going on. Now, what are the other bits in here? Well, you need to have an estate plan, estate planning. What does estate mean? Chuck it in the chat. Estate, how do you manage your estate? All right, it's a fancy term usually used by, lawyers and financial planners at the end of, distributing wealth to people. But what's an estate? How do you manage an estate, folks? What is that? And what is a POA? All right, POA. These are pretty important, because they're not. We often miss these. All right, this estate is things like wills. Okay, a will. Have you got one? Have you got one? If you've got children and other people you need to, leave things to, you need to have the right will in place and the right information to tell who to do what and where. Make sure you got that down pat, folks. The idea of maybe some testamentary trusts or something like that, if that's of interest to you, if that's part of your wealth future plan, then maybe. What's a POA? A power of attorney. All right. Power of attorney. And, an enduring power of attorney. There's another thing called an enduring power of attorney, and so on, right? Now, these things sometimes are a bit morbid to talk about, but they're damn important, folks. All right. Now, and when we look at our matrix here of wealth, these things that we're like, tell me which one of these, have you ticked all the boxes, right? So if you were to do a little audit right now and go, all right, yes, I've got my property investment going, I've got my super going, and I've got some other investments going. Great. Hey, I'm managing my taxes. Yep, I'm managing my bad debt and managing my good debt. I understand what's going on there. Often what I find is like people go, oh, shit, I haven't done my will properly. I got none of this, and kind of maybe I don't have enough insurances. The one that often people miss out on, is this protection, this security piece in the middle. And often we think it's something we need to do when we're old. When you're old, you need to do that. No, when you're creating wealth and taking risk, then you need to make sure that those things are up to date as well. You've got to work with the right person. You can be taken on a damn, friggin' merry-go-round ride with a bunch of that stuff. Anyway, there you go. So I finished 3 minutes early today. I said I would. See, you guys thought it was impossible, but no, I did. I finished early, maybe. No, there you go. All right, folks. Well, listen, that's it from me today. The wealth matrix done and dusted. Think about it in these terms: your assets and your cash flow. How do you manage? How do you make it secure? Excuse me. Which bits have you got going? Which bits are working for you? Which bits aren't? This is kind of a high level. Zoom out and look back down. You're not in the strategy work. You're not in the tactics work. You're not in the implementation work. This is high level. Have you got these things all sorted and in your plan? There you go. All right. That's it, folks. I'm done. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Thanks for joining me. As always, let me know in the chat if there's something that you think would be worth having a talk about. There you go. Marcus, thanks, buddy. Listen, I'll rock and roll. You guys take care. Be good. Stay out of trouble. Take care. See you tomorrow. All right, folks. Bye-bye.